Hello everyone, it's Old Guardian here. In this how to play video, I'm going to take a look at a budget OTK DK Paladin. Yes, this is a full-blooded control/combo deck that only costs 3000 dust to build. I was asked if it was possible to build this kind of a budget deck on YouTube, and at first I was a little bit skeptical. Okay, can it really be done like, you know, OTK DK Paladin that cost like more than 10,000 dust? But when I really started to think about it, I came to the conclusion that actually, if there is one control deck that you can build on a budget, it has to be Paladin. Because the Paladin is the only control deck with board clears that are not epics or legendaries. The Paladin board clears are basically rares. There's Pyromancer, there's Equality, there's Shrink Ray. All of this stuff is rares. So this gives you kind of a good budget basis for building control type of Paladin decks. But then the next question is, okay, well, now I can clear some boards, but how do I actually win a game? And that's a bit more tricky. How do you build really a control paladin? And a pure control paladin is quite difficult to build on a budget, because you would like to have some of those really expensive legendaries that are your endgame threats. But if you try to go with the combo finisher, then all you really need is Uther of the Ebon Blade, because Uther of the Ebon Blade's hero power is your win condition. Once you can roll 4 different horsemen, you win the game. And the rules of rolling horsemen are that each horseman has a unique name, and in order to win the game you have to have all 4. Whenever you have horsemen on the board, the hero power never rolls a duplicate, it will always roll a horseman with a different name. But if you have other horsemen in your deck, or if you have other horsemen in your hand, then you might roll duplicates from your hero power. So to get to the OTK combo, this deck uses Brewmasters. There's 2 copies of Ancient Brewmaster and there's 2 copies of Youthful Brewmaster. Note that there's actually 1 extra Brewmaster, you only need 3. So you roll your hero power and you Brewmaster the minion back to your hand. And you repeat that 3 times, and as long as you can get the unique name every time. When you have 3 in your hand, you play all 3 from your hand and roll your hero power for the final time. 8 mana, 4 horsemen. Boom, win the game. Of course, sometimes it might take you some additional turns before you're able to win the game with this, because you might roll duplicates. So the first roll is always going to be unique. On second roll you have 1 in hand, so it's 75% to get a unique name. And on that crucial third roll, you have 2 in hand, there are 2 others in the pool, it's 50% to get a unique one. So overall you have 37.5% to pull off your combo preparation without whiffing once. Therefore, you can generally expect to roll 1 or 2 duplicates on your way to your combo. But this is a budget version, so how can this compete with full cost decks? That's part of the reason why the Blackwood Pixie is here. Blackwood Pixie is sometimes used in OTK Paladin, but it's fairly rare because it's not terribly good. Mostly because you kind of need to have a coin to make full use of the Pixie, or you need to have some horsemen on the board. If you have the coin, and if you have the coin with this deck, by the way, you really want to try to save it in games where you want to go for the OTK finisher anyway. But let's say you have the coin, then if you have 2 horsemen in your hand, you can play those 2 horsemen from your hand, roll your hero power, play the Pixie, play the coin, and roll your hero power again, boom, 4 horsemen. So this deck can cheat a little bit on its way to getting those 4 horsemen out. And that gives it a bit more competitiveness against the actual full cost builds. Because in those 50% of games where you have the coin, you can skip 1 horseman roll. Because this deck is a budget deck, this really has only 1 win condition, and that's rolling those horsemen. It's very difficult to win with this deck in any other way. If you were to play a full cost deck, and you would have stuff like Sunkeeper Tarim, you might have Linessa, then you would actually have quite a bit of power there, and you could play by just winning like a control paladin. Not necessarily going for the combo, but this deck has so little power in it that really the combo is the only way to win. Other than against some very aggressive decks that you can still run out of resources. The deck has the full set of Paladin board clears. There's the Equality Consecration combo, Equality Pyromancer combo, and the same combos also with the Shrink Ray. The deck also has 2 copies of Timeout, so that you can get some immunity turns to help you on your way, and there's 2 copies of Spike Red Steed, so that you can also try to defend a little bit. With Silence not being terribly common in the more aggressive decks right now, these Spike Red Steels can actually help you stabilize. The deck is a fairly fast cycle build. Lots of cards here draw other cards. Flash of Light draws a card, Loot Hoarder draws a card, Potion of Heroism draws a card. And there's Hammer of Wrath also draws a card. So you're trying to get through your deck as quickly as possible. You're trying to find the Ooter, you're trying to find 3 bounce effects, and you're trying to survive just long enough to build your Horseman board and win. When you mulligan with this deck, you're generally looking for Ooter, because without Ooter you have no win condition whatsoever, and Ooter being at the bottom of the deck is quite a disaster for you. And then card draw. Stuff like Loot Hoarder is an ideal keep. Something like Potion of Heroism is also pretty solid. And then you're looking for removal that is appropriate for the matchup. For example, True Silver Champion is typically one of the best cards to keep, especially against Rogue. And if you're facing anything that you suspect might have tokens, then Wild Pyromancer is obviously great. If you're facing Warlock, you think it might be an even Warlock, Equality is a key card that allows you to survive that early giant. Mulligans with this are a little bit different than the full cost version, which generally is looking for that call to arms. When you start upgrading this deck, you actually have 2 options to choose from. The traditional path is to go for the OTK DK Paladin. This is the full version and legendary. So many legendaries. This still plays fairly similarly, but this has call to arms for a huge tempo swing in the mid game. This deck has Sunkeeper Tarim to really challenge the opponent, make his big threat small or make your tokens bigger threats. This deck has Linessa Sunsorrow, which can become a fairly big minion on its own right, and this deck has a lot more healing, thanks to Crystalsmith Kangor and Shirvala the Tiger. Healing is one of the things that you're really lacking in the budget version. You have to be much more conscious about your health than you need to be with the full cost version, because this full cost version, if you get Kangor, Flash of Light Kangor, Shirvala, something like that, your health just skyrockets. And you can't do any of that with the budget version. Luckily though, if you're in a mirror match, it doesn't matter because both of your healths are irrelevant because you're trying to kill with the combo anyway. So this would be the traditional upgrade path to the OTK DK version. But there's also another option. You can also build towards Holy Wrath Paladin, which would look something like this. So this deck is still capable of doing the Horseman things. There's 2 Youthful Brewmasters here, there's Zola the Gorgon here, so you can bounce Brewmasters back into your hand, but this deck also has Shirvala and Holy Wrath. So you can shuffle Shirvala back into your deck with Baleful Banker, and then you can shoot that 25 damage to the opponent's face by drawing that Shirvala with the Holy Wrath. This happens once you're in fatigue, so you have no cards left in the deck, and Shirvala has been discounted sufficiently so that you can play Shirvala, shuffle it into your deck, and Holy Wrath on the same turn. So you have 2 options to choose from on where to go from the initial budget version. No matter which option you choose to pursue, first you want to craft 3 powerful legendary cards. First of all, one of the big problems with this deck is lack of healing, and you want to remedy that. And in order to remedy that, you want Shirvala the Tiger. It's also a very new legendary, so it's going to be in standard format for a while, and you can remove one of the shrink rays in order to fit in Shirvala. And this will help you survive much more effectively. The next upgrade legendary might hurt a little bit because it's one of those cards that's going to rotate out in April, but Zola the Gorgon is incredibly strong. Just that ability to leave a horseman on the board when you add a copy to your hand instead of bouncing the minion directly back to your hand makes a world of difference. Also, when you have Zola in the deck, you can do things like Zola a horseman and then bounce the Zola back to your hand so that you can Zola another horseman later. It just enables you to do things with the horseman that you cannot do with just the Brewmasters. Therefore, replacing one of the Brewmasters with Zola helps you improve the deck at this point. After you have added Zola, so now you've added a little bit of healing, you have added a little bit of faster combo ability, now you want to add even more healing to the deck. And by removing another Youthful Brewmaster from the list and including Crystalsmith Kangor, you can now do Kangor Flash of Light, Kangor Shirvala, your ability to defeat decks like even Paladins, even Warlocks. these sorts of decks that dish out a lot of damage to you is improved a lot by these changes. This is where the paths differ if you want to go for the OTK DK or with the Holy Wrath version. If you want to go with the Holy Wrath version, this would be the time to add in the rest of the rare and epic cards. Whereas if you're going for the OTK DK version, this is the time to add the most powerful card draw tool for that archetype, which is Call to Arms. By removing the Hammers of Wrath, which were dealing a little bit of damage and trying to draw a little bit of cards, we can add 2 copies of Call to Arms. And now Call to Arms have a good bunch of minions to pull as well. We have moved our bounces to Ancient Brewmasters and Zola, so Call to Arms will not pull our bounce cards. And we have added Kangor to give them a little bit of better pull from that. We're still missing Talnos, but this is an acceptable state for the moment. However, the very next move we want to make is to remove the Pixie and add in Talnos, which will improve our card draw, it will improve our Call to Arms, and it can even be used in Consecration in some cases to deal a little bit of extra damage. At this point we would want to add the final 2 legendary cards, which unfortunately are rotating out in April, but they still have 3 more months of immense power remaining. So we could take out the second Shrink Ray and add in Sunkeeper Tarim for a similar effect. That can also be used for offensive purposes, unlike a Shrink Ray. And we can remove one of the timeouts for Linessa Sunsorrow. So this would allow the deck to function also as a more pure Control Paladin build, in addition to functioning as an OTK deck. But whether you're upgrading to this one or if you try to upgrade to the Holy Wrath Paladin, you still want to get those 3 good legendary cards first. Shirvala the Tiger, Zola the Gorgon, Crystalsmith Kangor. And from that point you can choose between 2 different paths. If you enjoy this content, then please click the like button and subscribe to my channel for more. And now, let's go take a look at what the budget version of the OTK DK Paladin is capable of. I was able to maintain more than 50% win rate with this deck in Legend. So while this is way cheaper than the full cost version, and you need to take that into account in some of your plays, like you don't have as much healing, you don't have as much power, you need to be more focused on maintaining your health, drawing quickly, getting to your combo. But this deck is no slouch either. That way I would have something to play on 3. Maybe I can keep it. Let's give it a try. Because I'm expecting this game to be so that the rogue is going to be aggressive, and the OTK is not actually what I'm really going for. I'm just going for survival. And if I can survive and get some steeds out there and stuff, then I should just be able to win when the rogue runs out of resources at some point. But whether that's possible, then who knows. We're about to find out. Rogue kept a couple of cards. I found a 1-drop. It's an odd rogue, much as expected. And here we roll with the Righteous Protector. Yep, we're going to fight. And he's going to have a dagger, of course. A big nasty dagger. That can kill stuff like my Brewmaster. I would have the option to Brewmaster this back after it loses Divine Shield, though. Maybe there's something to it. But I could have 2 minions here, one without Divine Shield, one with Crystallizer. Okay. Next turn he's always going to... So I can't even kill this Crystallizer, right? No, I cannot. But if I hit into it and I Brewmaster, then he daggers up to kill the Brewmaster. This is a 2, so 2 is not a significant number. If I simply Hero Power, he uses this one and the dagger to kill the Righteous Protector. And I will have a 1-1 on the board. This will be a 2, so again, that makes no difference. I think I might want to get the... Divine Shielded minion back to my hand for later use. He's going to use his dagger, of course, to kill the Brewmaster, but I assume at this point that it's still acceptable. That coin is a little bit worrying though, because he can do stuff like Coin SI later. 500 legend for now. Awesome, that's great news. Spends the coin already. That was a bit of a surprise, I have to say. But I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that. Ooh, now I would have the Protector and the Loot Hoarder as an option. Obviously he can value trade everything away. Or I could play the Black World Pixie. I got the Pixie out there at this time. Because now that he spent the coin, that means that there's no SI activation. So killing a 3/4 is not quite as simple. And if he simply plays the tug, sacrifices his board, then I have the true silver champion. So there are ways for me to deal with this. Oh, deckhand is interesting. Does that come with a Cold Blood? I suppose that comes with a Cold Blood or something. Yes. And then the deckhand and the dagger will trade the Pixie. Alright, alright. I see what you did there. I have to take 10 from the mole, right? I suppose I have to take 10 from the mole, but at least I get to kill them all, so... I think this is still fine. I still have the Divine Shield Taunt minion in my hand. I have a chance to get some level of board control back. I found that in rank 1k and higher there's a lot of aggro. Yeah, there are these kind of layers, typically, in the meta. Some of them are higher than others. Not yet time to go for the Pyromancer. I think this is the Protector and the Loot Hoarder. No need to Flash of Light yet. Just this. I expect something like a Fungalmancer here. But if he plays Fungalmancer, he has to use both of these, simply to push through the Righteous Protector. And then none of that goes to face yet, so then I have the option to like Shrink Ray next turn, for example. So Fungalmancer would not be a very strong... Oh, Fan of Knives! I didn't see that coming. That's very, very rare inclusion in this archetype. Alright, that was nice. Really didn't see that one coming. Don't play my Pyromancer out there. I don't think I want to yet. I think I can just Flash of Light my face for now. Would I find a hammer? I might just hammer the 1/2. I like that. Let's just hammer that one. Deny some opportunities from him. With just this Star Creeper. And I have a potential Pyromancer clear. He's clearly now saving his resources. Not committing too much on the board. But we'll see where this one's going to end up. Alright. Alright. Yeah, not committing too much on the board. I like this way that he's going right now. Oh, that's a nice timeout. So many options. I obviously have the Pyro Shrink Ray. That's the final clear. I could also do like Pyro Potion of Heroism timeout and kill the Tar Creeper. That would mean that I would lose the Pyromancer next turn probably. But I would still maintain the Shrink Ray. Or I could simply spend the timeout. Loot Hoarder Hero Power. I actually like that one a lot too. But then he will not commit more resources on this board. I think I still want to do it like this now. But this will mean that he will not commit anything more on this board. So we'll see. And he's able to start accumulating resources in his hand. Stuff like Vile Spines and things. But I was able to find a steed, which is nice. There can obviously be a Vile Spine Slayer coming. Oh, a Deadly Poison. Okay. And there's a Consecration. It's unlikely for there to be a silence effect. But I guess that is possible too. I think I'm just steeding for now. most of these decks don't run silence. So typically what's coming is a Vilespine Slayer. Then there will still be another 6 health in the taunt. Or there could be like Void Ripper. Callie, if I'm rank 800 Legend playing as rank 3, how many ranks does he lose in case of a loss? You can't tell. It's impossible to say. Because it completely depends. It completely depends on the matchmaking rating and how many players are on various ranks. These ranks are meaningless. There's a matchmaking rating behind these ranks that has some meaning. The ranks themselves mean nothing. So it's Shrink Ray, Pyromancer, Potion of Heroism, right? It has to be.
Options, options.
Shrink Ray, Pyromancer, Potion of Heroism. So clean up the board. And I have to hit with the weapon, because otherwise I'm dead to Leroy. I can still be dead to Leroy plus something. But with that I was just dead to Leroy alone. So as you can see, the budget deck is clearly struggling to draw enough relevant cards in order to survive. So Leroy is 1-off right now. But there could be other stuff.
A good defense is a great turtle.
Oh, that's a great one. That's a great one. Now, this one prevents me from stabilizing, right? Is Uther enough? I play Uther, I kill this Shell Fighter. But I can also hit into the deckhand, right? I can also simply hit into the deckhand. That will also kill the Shell Fighter. I will take 1 less damage. Something like that, maybe. Because now that I hit here, then this one takes 5 damage, doesn't it? But I will only take 2. So I'm at 15, he has 7 on board. 8, 9. So if he has Leroy, he wins. But now I know that that minion is a Flame Elemental. So he needs a Leroy top deck now to win immediately. And failing a Leroy top deck, he needs something more. Leroy top deck is the only way for him to win immediately here. But there might be other ways in a little while. Too bad I can't deal with them. Too bad I cannot deal with the Tug. Well, now I can deal with the Tug. Do I have to deal with the Tug? What if he has Vilespine? Because I could make a Divine Shield Steeded minion. But that is probably a combo card. So if it's Vilespine, may or may not be able to push through. I probably need to kill the Tug. Sting at 6 is of course a little bit scary. I suppose this is the line. I still suppose this is the line. We make another Steeded minion here. 4-8 Divine Shield Taunt. Even if that's a Vilespine now, with the Tug Khan, he can't push through. Unless he gets Cold Blood or Leroy. But those could let him through. So there are still risks involved. Scary, scary times. But now at least he really needs a Vilespine. And I've already seen 1 Vilespine spent. Alright. Well, Rogue. What do you have there? Is one of those a Vilespine Slayer? Leroy Vilespine Slayer is still 2 off. If there's no Vilespine, then he has a lot more problems. Isn't he just dead because he didn't have a Vilespine? I can build a board here. I can't die from 11. At least I don't think I can die from 11. I don't think he can kill me from 11 even with a Vilespine. Silence Leroy Coldblood, if he has silence. 4 games away from Legend. Nice. That might save the game for me. I love the OTK version of the Gallery Priest. I think the OTK version is simply... I do believe OTK version is worse than the regular version of the Gallery Priest. But it is difficult to say. I mean, they are pretty mixed up. If you look at top decks, they're like this, regular and OTK. They go in between each other all the time, so very hard to say. But hey, it's another Evenlock, and this time it's an Evenlock who did a 4 keep. Why would an Evenlock ever do a 4 keep? I like cannot even imagine what my hand would have to be like in order to do a 4 keep as an Evenlock. It would have to be like what? Like double giants, double drakes. I'm taking the 8 here. Let's take the 8. I think taking 8 is fine. I think taking 8 is fine. And that giant wasn't even one of the kept cards. So what on earth did he keep? Okay. Cool story, bro. How much do I care? Do I care enough to Potion of Heroism? Because I have lots of options here. Next turn I could do like Equality, Pyromancer, Potion of Heroism, kill off everything but the Pyro. And I'm not killing this 4 then without an Equality. Other than with the Shrink Ray, maybe. Oh, the Shrink Ray is actually pretty interesting. So I might also do just Hero Power, Potion of Heroism. And then I can Shrink Ray next turn. Protector. I'll do that one too. Let's try this. I mean, double Divine Shield minions. What do you even kill that with? Like double Defile? Ah, you can just hit and Defile, of course, if you don't want the 4 to go to my face. So many options. I think I need to shrink these fellows, right? Sanders, what's the win condition? I'm an OTK deck. I kill people with the OTK. I still only seen one card that he kept, so I really can't fathom. Shrink Ray is probably fine here. I have Equality Consecration, I have Pyro Equality. Now we're going to shrink these fellows down to slightly more manageable size, and then kill them. Although I guess silencing a Twilight Drake was not really something that I would be very much afraid of. So I have another 2 board clears available, but 2 board clears might not be enough against a deck like this that has just lots of threats. Oh, there's my Ooter. That is nice, that is very, very nice. Not a whole lot I can do here. I guess I'll Hero Power. And maybe I was expecting Odd Paladin. Maybe. I mean, Odd, Even, OTK, all of them are pretty popular, so... But I still have only seen one. I'm actually not sure which of these cards was the one he kept. It was Dread Infernal, I think. So maybe there are some Hooked Rivers coming. Who knows? There could also be a Bone Mare next turn. That would be tricky. Tricky, tricky trickster. Because I really don't want to wipe this board at the moment. But there can be dangerous amounts of damage coming. What if there is a Bone Mare? Then that's 10. That's 10, and then I do Pyro Equality. And what happens the turn after that? Don't use a timeout this turn. Also a pretty key question. Potentially set up for Uther for next turn. I think I want to use a timeout now. This sets it up for slightly more probability that I can set up Uther next turn. But he's also going to have weapon removal in that deck. That deck is running some Uzis. So now his hand is full, so he has to develop. And he can't deal damage to me. And I was kind of expecting a Bone Mare with this setup. He wants to maintain small minions. But this does give me an opening to play the Uther. Because he didn't want to put power in play. So I can just develop Uther, heal a little bit. He's going to ooze next turn. He's always going to ooze here. But I got to 28, so I'm not too sad. His first real development. So I could do Equality, Consecration, Hero Power, Youthful Brewmaster, one-sided board clear. Or I can do Pyro Equality, Hero Power, Ancient Brewmaster. I think I like that one better. Now let's do this one. And we roll the Hero Power. And we send this fellow back to the hand. Okay, now we have a Darion Mograine. And we have a 5/4 on the board, crucially. Which means a little bit more work to deal with this than to deal with the Youthful. And if he plays like a 7/7, I have the Hammer. So then I can kill the 7/7 with Ancient Brewmaster and Hammer. But now he gets a couple of minions back. So I don't have a great kill on these. I obviously want to roll the Hero Power at this point, right? I believe I do. So let's see. Can we get something else than Darion? I can get Taurus. Okay, Taurus sounds good. Then I'm going to spend another Ancient Brewmaster here. Let's get that Taurus back to my hand. Hi Taurus. Pleasure to have you here. This one's going to hit. This one's going to hit there. And then, do I hammer something or do I try to Flash of Light? 8, 11. I think this is a Flash of Light turn. Let's just flash a little bit. Okay. So we have Darion, we have Taurus. Next turn we have 50% to get the third one. Here comes the Bone Mare that I was expecting for so long. And every damage has to go face. It makes no sense for him to spend damage that doesn't go to face. That is correct. And Darion and Taurus are in hand, and we get to roll. I roll first, right? Yes, I will roll first. It's another Darion. Alright. I could obviously do Equality Consecration. That would be 6 mana. Or I can just time out this turn. It seems like a reasonable turn to time out. Let's just call it a timeout here. Kill one of these minions here. This seems fine. I was thinking whether I need to draw with the hammer, but I didn't think there was anything important enough to draw. We get another 50-50 roll next turn. But obviously, eventually I will have to start winning 50-50 rolls. I cannot keep losing them indefinitely. Alright, Darion, Taurus. Let's roll. It's Deathlord Natscrim. Excellent news. Let's throw that back to the hand. And then we'll do Equality Consecration. And thus we won the even Warlock. This is where we watch out for Zihi. Well, I don't have any way to play around Zihi. So, not really, no. Maybe not Hammer. I suppose I will try to keep the equality. I'm kind of assuming even Paladin, to be honest.
We have turned our curse into
And it's an even Paladin. And equality has some potential to help me in this matchup. But we'll see.
reporting for duty.
Recruiterino it is. Mind if I roll weed? Haven't seen any even Paladins up there, only Odd and Exodia. Any idea why is that? Not really, no. Because even Paladin is very strong. Even Paladin was the strongest Paladin deck in the winter playoffs as well. So, kind of hard to say. But you don't always meet every player, so it's hard to get a good representation of the meta. According to statistics, even Paladin definitely is being played. Pyromancer, true silver champion. Alright, alright. Hero power time. Hero power and chill. It's harder to play than Odd Paladin. It is slightly harder, yes. He coins a corpse taker, that's annoying. That is annoying. Because now he has some good buffs for that. I mean, Blessing of Kings on this one, that's 14 damage. Pow. But I have only one. I have only one play against this. I have to hit into that to take away the Divine Shield now. Because that will enable a Pyromancer clear if there's a buff on this Corpse Taker. You rarely get to use the Corpse Taker package offensively, but sometimes you do. On the other hand, if he had it, he would have done it already. Well, okay, he was just slow. Maybe he doesn't know the archetype very well. Because that's a power play. I could have an equality timeout. Well, I suppose this is fine. But I probably lost the game still to that. That is just so powerful. Oh no, not the ooze. Oh dear, that was terrible. That was absolutely terrible for me. That ooze was so strong. I need to hammer down the ooze here. And heal myself a little bit. But he can just like play Steed here. Yeah, I think I've lost this game now. I don't really see a way out. That's a lot of Brewmasters, but that's not going to be enough. I will inevitably perish in this battle. But that Corpse Taker Kings, you very, very rarely get to do that. But whenever you do, that's game winning, typically. So that's just the power of even Paladin at its best. You can have stuff like Equality and Avenging Wrath or something. I think my best chance to survive is the Steed. It's not great, but it's the best I've got. This is still an Equality Avenging Wrath lethal. Just hit these two in first, then do the Equality Avenging Wrath and then hit this one in. Or he can have a Silence. Silence is fairly rare in even Paladin. I have used it a lot, I think it's core, but not a lot of other people use it. I've heard that it's very powerful. Oh, this is OTK on OTK. Alright. Oh, that's interesting. That is interesting. I found my Uther. That's good.
I hope you like my invention.
Oh, he runs a fast cycle build. Oh dear. Pyro coin. I don't really want to spend the coin actually. I should have just played the potion. Nah, this is still fine.
Reporting for duty.
Because I actually don't want to spend the coin because I have the pixie. Hammer of Wrath to the dome. That's intriguing. Next turn can be the call to arms. So it's still not time to play the Pyromancer. It's time to just choose a champion here. Let's see. That is Holy Wrath version. Okay. Maybe he's budget too. No. There's no way he's going to be budget. Next turn he could play the Steed. And that one I don't want to let him do. But I could use Pyro Equality later. But I don't want to let him Steed yet. I guess Pyro Potion is fine. So I think this is the Holy Wrath version. Alright. That's interesting.
Reporting for duty.
9 cards in hand. I do want to kill the token. I don't want to leave him with a Steed target here.
Reporting for duty.
9 cards in hand. Go down to 8 cards in hand. Yeah, playing the Loot Hoarder is acceptable. Let's do that. Nine cards in hand. Again, so many cards in hand all the time. This is not good. I need to get rid of some cards. I mean, it doesn't really matter if I overdraw. Not really. But it is still a little bit awkward. I mean, I have all the pieces I need to win the game, so nothing that I lose can matter that much. So I will burn a card if he kills the Loot Hoarder. It is fine, because I have everything I need in hand already. It does not hurt me if I burn a card.
The light dims, but we fight.
Not enough mana to steal that. So what's the plan?
Reporting for duty.
Now there will always be something left to Steed. Yes, because I can't kill all of this stuff. Actually, with the Consecration I can. I just Consecrate. Then I will end up burning a card. It's fine, I don't mind. I'm thinking way too much about burning a card when it doesn't matter. I can afford to burn a card. I don't need those cards for anything. So I don't know why I'm thinking so much about burning cards, because obviously I have no reason to avoid burning cards. Burning cards is insignificant.
The light's justice has failed. The battle.
So, Uther 9 on both sides. What's going to happen next? I think hammering it would be fine. It would still burn the card.
The time has come.
Taurus Trollbane.
Let's stash
Copy of Taurus into the deck. What is this madness? Well, we'll see. We'll see. Remember, I have the pixie power. Yeah, there could be call to arms. But that's still weird.
No peace.
Darion Mograine.
I'll put it on your
Let's put Darion Mograine into my hand.
to battle.
Then I want to always kill his tokens. I don't like him having tokens. Do I want to get rid of this Baleful Banker before he can somehow make a copy of that? I think this is probably fine. This is probably still fine. And I do believe that I will have enough time to win this game. As long as I roll anything but Darion next turn, I will win. With this version you're relying on the coin, right? No, Meyer, I'm not. I have enough Brewmasters. I have enough Brewmasters without the coin. Coin pixies just to make me a little bit faster if I'm on the coin.
I hope you like my invention.
Now, if I don't roll Darion, I win. As far as I can tell, anyway. Roll anything else but Darion Mograine.
The time has come.
And that's a Taurus Trollbane.
I'll put it on your hand.
So we put this one back to my hand. I can even consecrate this board. It's fine. That's a win. And a nice win it is. Yeah.
I return.
But what I do know is that I won this game. I need 5 slots on the board. I have 5 slots on the board.
Do you like to play with fire?
I mean, this looks like a hybrid version or something. Holy Wrath in this hybrid. And now, if I can remember this correctly, then I will play Darion, and I will play Taurus, and I will play Hero Power, and I will play Pixie, and I will play Coin, and I will play Hero Power, and we win the game. Spectacular. Up against a rogue, eh? I mean, I like cards like these, but they're also very, very slow. Maybe I can afford to keep a Shrink Ray. That might enable some kind of comebacks. I'm assuming Odd Rogue, and it is an Odd Rogue. Kept 2 cards, top deck the Diamol. Right? And the Pixie returns.
The light protects me.
Oh no, it's Squire into Cold Blood. That's so good. That's such a strong opener. I'm going to have to hammer this next turn. So this turn is a flash. I have to coin hammer on that 5-3 next turn. Which obviously sucks a little bit. I mean, I hope he doesn't have like a fledgling here, but that would be really unlikely. That is fast. That is so very fast. I think I have to hammer the 5-3. I don't see a way. I don't see another way. Sadly. Because he could, if he has like Fungal Mancer for the next turn, or if he has Tug now or Fledgling. He didn't have Tug or Fledgling last turn. He had a Tug, but he didn't want to play it. Whoa. I didn't see that coming either. so much damage. There's a timeout. I still need some way to get to that equality consecration turn. And it doesn't even kill the squire. But I suppose I will have to time out this turn. This opener was just so very fast. It's probably going to be Shrink Ray next turn, but it's unlikely to help. While it takes away a little bit of damage, it just doesn't take away enough. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Alright, it's lethal. It's exact lethal with the Leroy. Well, okay, that kind of game is unwinnable. No cold worms in the deck. No, this is budget. I was asked on YouTube if I could make a budget OTK Paladin, and I did. And it's actually pretty good. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the show, please click the like button and subscribe to my channel for more.